I'm not leaving. POTUS is leaving. He's not gonna run for a second term. I'm gonna run.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most bizarre instances in which the fictional work of political satire Veep seemed to accurately foreshadow occurrences in real life.
This is a simple and straightforward case. Although in many ways, that's what makes it so complicated. You see,
That's good. Do that.
Number 10. Use of the buzzword robust.
I'm guessing you have one of those word-a-day calendars, and I know what the word for today is. It's robust. Would you like to give me a definition as well?
Listen to enough political speeches and you'll notice a few favorite words that appear over and over again. In the Season 2 episode Hostages, the show poked fun at this trend when Deputy Communications Director Dan Egan slipped one such buzzword into Selena Meyers' speech: robust.
How's my speech coming?
Oh, one minor change, just one word really. Considered response is now going to be robust response.
Robust? Damn, that's good.
Dan predicts that the word will become the next political darling, and it doesn't even take long for that prediction to come true. That same year, robust was used so many times by politicians and other public figures that the BBC named it one of the most overused words of the year.
That the economic ties between our two countries are robust and growing.
Fast forward to the 2016 U.S. presidential campaigns, and there it was again, featured in several manifestos, including that of Republican candidate Rand Paul. Number 9. Selena Meyers' fireworks speech. The Season 4 episode Data begins with a PR nightmare in President Meyer's office.
Or the little girl down in Pine Hill, Alabama. She's HIV positive via breast milk, but who still dreams of becoming a ballerina.
After Selena mentions a girl living with HIV during an interview, internet sleuths piece together her identity and dox her, leaving her and her family ostracized. Later, as Selena leaves a campaign rally, she tries to do some damage control with an off-the-cuff statement to the press. Unfortunately, her words are completely upstaged by a poorly timed fireworks display.
I'm going to find out who's responsible and why it happened and how it happened. And lastly, I'm going to send my apologies.
5 years after this episode aired, real life caught up with the show when President Donald Trump learned of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death while leaving a campaign rally. He scrambled to offer a solemn tribute, only to be drowned out by Elton John's Tiny Dancer blasting in the background.
She led an amazing life. What else can you say? She was an amazing woman. Whether you agreed or not, she was an amazing woman.
Number 8. Conspiracy theorists in Congress.
Actually, he did 33% better than...
Don't math me, Lloyd. Math is a plot invented by the Chinese to make smart Americans feel dumb.
Conspiracy theorists have been around forever, but thanks to the internet, their isolated ramblings have now gone global. Once relegated to fringe corners like 4chan and QAnon threads, they got a boost during the Trump era, leading to figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, and Lauren Boebert becoming elected officials.
19 Republicans running for office have expressed some sort of support for the Q theory, according to the media watchdog group Media Matters.
These individuals seem to have taken notes from Veep's Jonah Ryan. Although he started as a bumbling White House liaison, Jonah somehow rose to become a representative from New Hampshire. But his evolution wasn't just in job title alone. It was a full-blown dive into radical right-wing politics, complete with bizarre conspiracy theories. Just like his real-life counterparts, the more unhinged Jonah got, the more it seemed to work in his favor.
Like, her whole presidency has been one disgrace after another, and I don't know if you're sick of it, but I'm definitely sick of it, and I'm not just gonna sit here and take it anymore.
Number 7. A government shutdown.
Okay, guys, I'm not gonna drag this out. We're in shutdown mode. I gotta have a skeleton staff.
Government shutdowns have been depicted in several political-themed shows from House of Cards to Parks and Recreation. But it was Veep that seemed to foreshadow one just months before it actually happened. In the 7th episode of Season 2, the government grinds to a halt, triggering a series of ridiculous events, including a man getting killed by a bear due to park rangers being furloughed.
And a black bear. That's the weird part. They rarely attack people. That's weird.
That's what I was exactly, because then he must have goaded him, and he must have, hit him with a stick or done something stupid.
While government shutdowns aren't exactly unheard of in real life, there hadn't been one in almost 20 years when this episode aired in June 2013. However, just 4 months later, the U.S. federal government went into a shutdown, leaving hundreds of thousands of workers stuck in limbo. Fortunately, there were no real-life bear-inflicted deaths as a result.
I think it's very disappointing to me because it's kind of sending a message that the government cares more about their parties and their bipartisanship than they do us, the American people.
Number 6, anti-vaxxers cause disease outbreak. Jonah Ryan's political climb doesn't just stop at Congress. In season 7, he sets his sights on the presidency and goes head-to-head with Selena for the ticket. During his campaign, Jonah takes an anti-vaccination stance, peddling misinformation at his rallies. Ironically, he soon contracts chickenpox from his stepson and causes a massive outbreak by infecting attendees at one such rally.
All in communities with low vaccination rates, but no other apparent connection.
Oh my God, you patient IQ 0, you infected all of those nutballs who don't believe in vaccinations.
Well, serves him right.
Just days after this episode aired, news broke that a Kentucky teenager who was banned from school for refusing vaccinations had contracted chickenpox.
Another kid came down with the chickenpox, so then it went on for longer. Then finally, towards the end of the ban, I actually got the chickenpox, which should have extended the ban, but for some reason they didn't.
The parallels don't end there. Falling vaccination rates in the US have paved the way for the comeback of diseases like measles, most notably in 2019 in New York and Washington, and again in 2025 in Texas.
Now report more than 400 cases, growing by 22 new cases since Thursday. Children and teenagers make up the majority of those infected, and almost all of those cases are in those who are unvaccinated.
Number 5, calls for violence against immigrants. Since he descended that escalator in 2015, Donald Trump has waged a relentless war against immigrants. While Veep didn't exactly predict his general hostility toward illegal immigration, it did eerily foreshadow a specific moment from his presidency. At a campaign rally in 2019, Trump revisited the topic, and when one of his attendees suggested violence as a permanent solution, he merely laughed it off.
But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that statement.
That moment mirrored a scene from Veep's 7th season, where a supporter of Jonah Ryan made the same suggestion in response to his tirade on immigration.
And how do these diseases get into America? How? Immigrants.
Kill them!
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have to kill all of them. I mean, there are some good immigrants. Beyonce?
The parallel was so uncanny that it inspired a segment on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, where Colbert teleports into the Veep universe and warns them to be more careful with their storylines.
My name is Stephen Colbert, and I come from another dimension. The things that you're doing on this earth then happen in my world, over and over again.
Okay, this is insane.
Number 4, Selena Meyers' pre-campaign memoir. In season 3, Selena Meyer releases her memoir, Some New Beginnings, just before announcing her candidacy for president. The book's press tour quickly evolves into a makeshift campaign, as Selena travels to Iowa under the guise of promoting the memoir to court potential caucus voters.
If she could have been here, which she could have, she would have, but she is in Iowa for the book tour, fluffing caucus goers for the presidential run.
If this strategy feels familiar, it's because a real-life parallel unfolded shortly after. In June 2014, Hillary Clinton published her memoir, Hard Choices, which chronicled her 2008 presidential run and tenure as Secretary of State.
Clinton says she refused the job of Secretary of State several times before she eventually accepted. And she writes, quote, "Shenanigans my team and the president-elects were playing made it tough to say no."
But Clinton's book tour functioned more like a political campaign. It was handled by seasoned campaign operatives rather than traditional publicists, and each stop featured a Ready for Hillary super PAC bus. Like Selena, Clinton released her memoir just ahead of launching her 2016 presidential bid.
So I'm hitting the road to earn your vote, because it's your time. And I hope you'll join me on this journey.
Number 3, the private email scandal.
Yeah, publish everything. All of our emails and all of our phone records.
Right, because they won't have time to read everything. I mean, you can't read everything. I don't read half the stuff I'm supposed to.
There are more similarities between Selena Meyer and Hillary Clinton than just a pre-campaign memoir. Anyone who followed the 2016 U.S. presidential election remembers the controversy surrounding Clinton's use of a private email server during her time as Secretary of State.
Clinton said she relied on her aides to, quote, use their judgment when emailing her, and could not recall anyone raising concerns about information sent to her private account.
Some even contend that the FBI's decision to reopen their investigation into the issue mere days before the election played a decisive role in her defeat. But years before this real-life controversy, Selena also endured her own email scandal in the first season of Veep. After she fires a Secret Service agent for smiling on duty, she's compelled to release all official correspondence, including some of her embarrassing private emails.
Some of the bloggers are linking Ted's overnighters to the pregnancy rumors.
What? Oh, come Come on. Mike, can't you make me not have been pregnant? God!
Number 2, count the votes. Stop the count.
Hey, ho, ho! This endless recount's got to go! God, that's a great chant. Just catchy.
The 2020 U.S. presidential election was undeniably one of the most chaotic in modern American history. Vote counting dragged on for days, with Trump and his supporters chanting "count the votes" in states where he trailed Joe Biden, while simultaneously demanding a halt to counting in states where he was ahead. This was yet another case of life imitating Veep. In the show, Selena Meyer and her opponent Bill O'Brien tie in the Electoral College. But after 10,000 absentee ballots are found hidden by an anti-Selena postal worker in Nevada, she demands a state recount. Initially, O'Brien's supporters rally to stop the count. But when the ballots turn out to be military votes favoring their candidate, they switch sides and change their tune.
Count every vote!
Doesn't he work for O'Brien?
Every vote! Count every vote! No, Jesus, come on, Richard, no. Count every vote! Come on, let it go! Count every vote!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, President steps down for first female vice president.
POTUS is gonna resign. And I'm about to become president.
Although we've highlighted certain similarities between her and Hillary Clinton, the real-life politician Selena Meyer most closely mirrors is Kamala Harris. Both women rose from the Senate to become the first female vice president, and their awkward speech patterns have frequently drawn parallels.
For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present.
However, their most striking similarity lies in how they both got a shot at the top office after the sitting president chose not to seek re-election. For Selena, that opportunity came in season 3 when President Hughes resigned to care for his wife, making her the new president. A full decade later, Harris found herself in a similar position after Joe Biden dropped out of the 2024 race and endorsed her as the Democratic Party's candidate.
Rachel, the president, in a tweet just announcing that he is offering his full support and endorsement for Kamala Harris to be the nominee of the party.
What plot lines from Veep do you think might come true in the near future? Make your predictions in the comments below.
That's not movable. That's immovable.
Surely nothing is immovable.
Amy, this is like explaining gravity to a chicken.